There's a lot of excess in America.
The main idea of socialism being that people at the top are doing their fair share to help people at the bottom, trying to prevent disparity of income and trying to prevent excess, as you called it. So on campus, if there's a GPA disparity where there's people at the bottom with a poor GPA, would you support a policy where people at the top spread the wealth and give that GPA to people at the bottom?
That's completely different.
How is it different?
Because I'm like studying all day for my grade.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again. We're going to be looking at this video here from Campus Reform. If you haven't watched their channel before, definitely give them a watch. As you could see there, it is just students who don't know what they're supporting. So they're talking about socialism until they apply it to their GPA. So have a listen. And this is the thinking that, we've been talking about it in recent weeks especially, is the fact that they want rules on everyone else. They want everyone to pretty much suffer. But as soon as it comes back on them and it has to apply to them, then suddenly they say, no, hold on. No, that's not right. That's not right. For example, like that Sonny Houston, the presenter from The View, I believe it is, who kept saying reparations, and people that, had people in their history, so maybe even 200 years ago, who owned slaves, they need to also pay reparations. There needs to be some sort of accountability. Until she found out that her bloodline also owned slaves in Spain, right? And that's this whole notion that everyone seems to think that the only country that ever had slaves is America, or America is the first country to have slaves. No, it's not. Slavery has been around since forever, pretty much, and it is still going very prevalent in some parts in Asia and also in Africa. And they said today is the most slaves that there's ever been in history, not percentage-wise and everything, just pure number-wise. So why do these people not go out there and do their protesting, right? Now, let's have a listen to the thinking here of these college students, and you let me know what you think about them and their socialism. Now, before we get into it as well, 90% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you do want to support the channel and we've earned it, please subscribe below the video, hit that button, and also like the videos you like. Let's get into this one.
I'm Kevin Phillips with Campus Reform. Today we're at Florida International University talking to students about their opinions of socialism and if they'd support a socialist GPA policy. Would they be willing to share their high GPA with people that have a low GPA? Because after all, it's all about equality. Which would you rather have in America, socialism or capitalism?
I would say socialism.
How do you view the word socialism, favorably or unfavorably?
I guess I would go with favorably.
Like, I have family in Europe. They go to college for free. Their healthcare is paid for. They don't have to worry about it at all.
I favor that over capitalism.
Okay, got it.
I also think I favor that, like, socialism over capitalism.
Socialism is more geared toward like helping the people in your, the governed.
I'd rather people have that same opportunity. There's a lot of excess in America.
The main idea of socialism being that people at the top are doing their fair share to help people at the bottom, trying to prevent disparity of income and trying to prevent excess, as you called it. So on campus, if there's a GPA disparity where there's people at the bottom with a poor GPA, would you support a policy where people at the top spread the wealth and give that GPA to people at the bottom?
Help them get a better GPA?
Yeah.
I'm all for helping. I wouldn't give let me just give you some of my points.
But it's about being fair, right? We got to help people at the bottom.
I've lost a lot of sleep, so I don't know if I will be fair.
It's hard. I guess it would be kind of like hypocritical for me to say no.
Just before she answers, yes, it is hypocritical. She at least knows it's hypocritical that you can apply it to some things in life, but not to others. And that girl saying before, the previous girl, I've lost a lot of sleep, with studying and getting ready for the tests and getting your score. But what about the people that work harder than other people that have to support the bottom feeders? So it's just, everyone thinks it's equality, but at the end of the day, some people are still doing more than others for less. And that's where capitalism, hate it or love it, whatever you want to do, is the hard workers will more than likely be better off. The people that put in the effort, all that type of stuff. What we used to get taught as a young kid, if you work harder than the next person, you will be better off. You will get that promotion, all that type of stuff. I'm not saying in every instance, but in most instances, you work harder and you try harder, you will be better off and you will be well off. But yet again, like I said, not for everyone. And it's also obviously around this age, the college age, where a lot of people are socialists and then eventually they hit 30 or even something like that, and they become a little bit more conservative. But as we've seen, that Generation Z is actually more conservative than any generation in the past. So it's going to be interesting to see in the next few years how that kind of shows with the politics and all that type of stuff coming through.
That's completely different.
How is it different?
Because I'm like studying all day for my grade.
People
What do you mean
work
by
all day.
sharing it? Like literally, like giving them a chunk of my GPA?
Yep.
Dang.
I would want to say no, straight up.
But what's the difference between earning a high GPA and not wanting to give it away, but then earning a lot of money and also not wanting to give that away?
Well, I feel like the difference is that you study for your grades, right? And grades often reflect how much time you spend studying. But
You gotta work pretty hard to become a millionaire.
I mean, I'm not denying that fact either, but for the regular working person, you know,
Do you think there's a similarity between earning your salary and maybe not wanting to give it away to people that aren't working to earn it? And same thing with the GPA, where you earn it and you say, well, I don't necessarily want to give it to anyone who might not be working for it.
Right. I think it's just that whole sense of thinking that no one's going to work for it.
I mean, I sacrifice a lot to get my GPA. You know, I don't go out as much as I'd like to, but that's for some, like a greater goal in the future, the way I see it. So no, I wouldn't sacrifice my own things, like sacrifice my own time to help somebody else who didn't want to make those same sacrifices.
There's some people who are in the bottom, but they really are working, and there's some people who are in the bottom and they deserve that poor GPA.
Kind of like people making money with their income.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like some people. Let's not throw shade.
But isn't it about helping the less
You're
fortunate?
basically profiting off of my work for you. So who's really the bad guy here?
I don't think that'd be a good idea, because then you're taking away from people that earn that grade, and what about the ones that aren't really working hard for their grades, so they're just gonna get something they don't really deserve.
Got it. And do you think it's similar with your salary?
Yeah, I definitely do.
No, that's the complete opposite of meritocracy.
Okay.
The complete opposite. That's like awful.
I don't think they're comparable because your GPA is not directly linked to like your quality of life necessarily.
But you still have to earn it the same way you would have to earn a salary, right?
Well, I don't think most rich people in this country necessarily earn it. Much of that money is inherited. Much of that money, you know, is made from the stock market, which isn't, they're not actually working for that. They're pressing a button behind a computer for that. I mean,
well, I mean, then there would be no point to having a GPA, because then if everyone has the same, then there's no metric, right?
But it's all about fairness, right?
Well, like, is it fair? Like, I look at it this way, right? Is it fair for everyone to have the same outcome or to have the same opportunity, right? For me, having the same opportunity is what is fair, right? Not the same outcome, right? Because if I work harder than you and I get a better result, then it is only fair that I get a better grade or I get a better opportunity than you, right?
This is the funny thing to me. It's just like we've been talking recently, like we keep kind of hitting this home every single time, is rules for thee, but not for me. Everyone else should be paying money. You know, if you're in a socialist kind of construct, the rich will have to pay for the poor and so forth, right? Let's say the rich person, someone's earning 100 grand a year and they're working 80 hours a week, you know, really grinding because they want to get ahead. And then there's someone working 10 hours and they want them to get the exact same things as that person working 80 hours. A socialist government just does not work. It just doesn't work, because why would anyone work extra hard and put in the extra effort, the extra hours, if there's no reward at the end? That's what I don't understand. And that's why it's funny. And it's a good resemblance as well, by saying, taking points off your GPA. And they think, oh, no, well, I worked hard for that. Yes. Well, what if you get your GPA? You worked really hard to get your diploma or your, degree, and you still get the same as someone that dropped out of high school. You know, is that fair for you as well? That's the question I want to ask these people who believe in socialism. And that's why you see people from socialism countries moving out of those countries and warning about how it does not work. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think below. Isn't it funny to see when they throw it in a way that they would disagree with it? Let me know below what you think about it. Would you ever give up your things to be equal with everyone else, even though you work harder? Let me know below. Like the video if you like it, and I'll see you in the next one.